Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com and welcome to my detailed overview of the Pypes off-road long tube headers with the 1 7/8 inch primaries available for your 2015 and newer Mustang GT. Alright, this detailed overview is going to cover my thoughts on the benefits of installing a set of long tube headers, what you're going to be looking at here with the Pypes system as far as quality construction, we'll talk price, and then finally we'll talk installation. And long tube headers on the Coyote platform, you're looking at a full pull, 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty scale with some more detail later in the video. So the Pypes long tube headers that we have in this video should appeal to the S550 Coyote owners out there looking to step into one of the more involved bolt-ons, of course, like a long tube header, and would prefer to get the best of both worlds. A nice quality build, but with a very affordable price tag. As for that diameter, well, the 1 7/8 inch diameter primary is going to be one of the most common in the category, and in my opinion, I call it the jack of all trades diameter. Definitely enough header, of course, for the naturally aspirated setup, but enough header to grow into if and when forced induction enters the equation. So I'm sure a lot of my Mustang fans out there are probably more than familiar with the brand Pypes, know them best as an entry or value level exhaust option in the category, but that doesn't necessarily mean their products are going to suffer because of that. And never has that been more true with their S550 offerings. I've personally noticed a large increase in quality recently here with their S550 offerings, both the catbacks and the long tube headers that we have in this particular video. Better materials, better welds, better quality are all things that I'm seeing throughout the brand, and it is a nice thing to point out for all my S550 owners. But let's talk a little bit more about the materials here with the Pypes system, because again, they are very nice for a company that's not usually known for that sort of thing. Premium grade 304 stainless steel throughout here. Really nice welds, guys. Listen, I've seen some pipe stuff in the past that I'd be like, but that's not the case here with these particular long tube headers. Now, are you getting the same level of quality and construction that you would see with some of the premium options? Not exactly. For instance, some other premium headers might smooth out the welds inside the flange here a little bit more. Pypes doesn't do that, but what I can tell you, these things are going to perform as intended for far south of $2,000 that you might spend on a set of Cooks or American Racing headers. Technically, yes, this is a 1 7/8 inch header, but it's a little unique in the fact that it features what is called a step design. And this basically means that the header steps up in size the closer it gets to the collector. Now, it's a single step, mind you, but it is a step design nonetheless, so let's talk about that a little bit more. You're starting out with a 1 3/4 inch primary for basically the first 6 to 8 inches of the header before stepping into that larger 1 7/8 inch diameter. And then, of course, everything exits or meets at the rather large 3-inch merge style collector. Now, stepped headers are something that's been around for a long time in the world of hot rodding and racing, just with the goal of increasing your exhaust velocity, helping to create a broader power band overall. Now, and this is something that I think will be attractive to a lot of owners out there, but mainly the guys that are looking to stay NA for now, basically for budget reasons, before maybe stepping into forced induction with a TVS, twin screw, or a centrifugal. Because in my opinion, a 1 3/4 inch header is really all you'll ever need for a naturally aspirated setup, which you're kind of getting in this step design. But then again, you got that 1 7/8 inch diameter to grow into if you do go forced induction. Speaking of the primaries, they've all been CNC mandrel bent to help increase your flow overall, and while not terribly important, the headers themselves have been polished lightly just to give you a little bit better appearance, but between you and I, you're really never going to see these things once installed. Now, moving to that merge collector, once again, a 3-inch collector featuring what Pypes calls their power spike technology. This is something a lot of header manufacturers have been doing lately with the Coyote applications, and it's just another thing to help increase exhaust velocity along with that step design we just talked about. Of course, this is Pypes off-road long tube setup, meaning you're not going to have any cats anywhere within the system here. It will, of course, offer you the biggest gains, but just make sure to check with your local laws before purchasing. Now, if you did like these long tube headers, but maybe you wanted to go with a catted version instead, we do sell one here on the site for about $100 more. Another thing to point out with these particular long tube headers, the off-road version, is that they're gonna make your exhaust a lot louder. So just be ready for that, especially if you already have an aggressive catback in place. Horse Extreme, Flowmaster Outlaw, I'm looking at you. You are gonna just annihilate the neighborhood with long tubes in one of those systems. Again, not a bad thing for some people out there, but certainly something you should be aware of. And then there's the biggest reason we all install long tube headers in the first place, of course, and that is the power gains that you get when installing something like this. Now, it's hard to put an exact number on a car without dynoing it because dynos, cars, mods, tunes, they're all gonna be different, but what you can expect is anywhere between 10 and 20 wheel horsepower with a quality tune, maybe a little bit more if you already have some supporting mods in place. Now on the site, we do say you can install these off-road long tube headers from Pypes without a tune, but I personally would recommend against that for two big reasons. First and foremost, you're just gonna see more power with a custom tune. Secondly, you're inevitably gonna see a check engine light pop up here if you run these headers without a tune, because the car's ECU is gonna start freaking out once it realizes the cats are no longer there. So take my advice, get a tune, you're gonna be happier in the long run. And if you already have a custom tune in place from some of the big name tuners out there, a lot of times these guys are gonna offer you a free tune revision. So do yourself a favor and do your car a favor and get yourself tuned. Well, what does this all mean when it comes time to talk price? I keep telling you these things are affordable, and guys, I'm not lying to you. In fact, you're gonna be looking at right around 900 bucks for the price point for the Pypes long tube headers, the off-road option, which in my opinion is very, very affordable. In fact, only the BBK options are gonna be slightly more affordable, but not by much. Now for the install, and I can tell you this one certainly isn't gonna be fun, guys. Expect a full 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty scale, a full day to maybe even a weekend in the shop or garage, depending on your level of expertise. This one is certainly gonna test your toolbox, guys, so just be ready for that. Have a solid set on hand before getting started, and I'm talking all the fixings here. Ratcheting wrenches, sockets, extension swivels, the whole 9 yards. Just be prepped for a big install. Now, typically there are two schools of thought when tackling this install. Some guys, like myself, prefer to support the motor and transmission with a pull jack, remove the motor mounts and install the headers that way. Other guys like to drop the entire front subframe and do the install that way. Whatever the case, guys, just know you're in for a pretty gnarly install here. And if you're not comfortable with this one, don't be afraid to call your local shop. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Pypes off-road long tube headers for the simple fact that they're very affordable in the land of big money brands. The quality and welds are all on point, and the best part is they're gonna perform just as well as anything else in the category. So that is my review of the Pypes off-road long tube headers, which you can find right here at AmericanMuscle.com.